Challenges as a startup is one is of credibility. I mean, within 15 days of launching, yes, you want to go and meet clients and you want to talk to them about what you're doing, but then they start asking, what have you done so far, and do you have any successful clients, or do you already have XYZ things, which somehow, I mean, which is very difficult for a startup to answer. That's a big challenge, how to build credibility about what your services and your product. B is again a challenges of there is, most businesses start making sense at a certain scale, right? And to achieve that scale, you need money, and that's the biggest problem you have in the first place. So again, resources that at your disposal become one of the biggest constraints while starting up, and that was the same story with us. And the third thing is your ability to attract the right talent in the beginning is not too strong. At least we face that challenge because probably we're not focused rightly towards it. Because in the beginning, when you start out, you're just happy that somebody wants to work with you. You're just happy that somebody wants to join your startup and share your story with you. And you really don't evaluate things on the levels at which you should. So yeah, so getting the right team in place and finding the resources to sustain and getting credibility is one of the biggest things. Okay, so I mean, when you talk about stakeholder, I think the key stakeholders for any startup starts with the team, because if they don't know what they're creating, or if they don't have a clear vision to what they're creating, you're not going to get any kind of growth that you're aiming for. So I think most startups should, as they start growing a little bit and they start getting a team, it's the most important stakeholder one should look out for. Beyond that, in terms of our stakeholders which pay us. So there are clients and users. So there, on the corporate side, there are customers and companies and startups and SMEs. Now, these stakeholders need to be dealt with very, very carefully, because A, they are paying you for your services, and they are some of the people who are going to help you build your credibility. So your first 10 customers, or the first 20 customers, and again the challenge is that these stakeholders, because they're paying you and when you're selling to them, you really promise that you're going to be the best out there. You're not competing with the startup world, you're competing with the best services out there, right? So your service benchmarks in your customer's head is really, really high. How do you match that? And that is where I think the more transparent you are in your startup sales, it's better. Saying that, okay, this is what we are doing. From a corporate perspective, the adoption was that we went and said, hey, this is the product and this is the service. Why don't you try it for free and pay us only if you're satisfied? So that is the route we took in the corporate way. And if you're telling a person, listen, you don't have to pay us if you're not satisfied with us, I think most people will jump onto the idea. Okay. So there were no hidden, for a good 1 year we ran like that, where we told companies, you post for free, we'll help you give you applications, and if you select anyone, so it's a success fee-based model. Which helped getting a lot of companies come and register because it was free. They're open to taking a chance in 5 minutes of their time, no money going out from them. It kind of helped us build trust. Once they've seen a good service, etc., then I can start upfront charging them, which is what we do now. So from a point where we used to charge less than 10% of our clients, today we charge more than 90% of our clients. So that's how we went about adopting in the corporate side. From a student perspective, as I said, the need was so strongly felt that as long as the product is there, it was better than what they had before. So luckily what we had to do was only focus on awareness. So how can I get my posters inside campuses? How can I get more and more students to be aware of our product? Was what we needed to acquire customers. To retain and grow them is where we had to make sure that the service levels are maintained to them. We didn't do it the right way. We made a lot of mistakes in that model. So for us, it was at some point was a challenge, and we tried to move things. And how we have learned the hard way of what is the right way of doing this is that make sure you're rather than saying, okay, this service is for free, what we start, even if today somebody is an old customer and you want to give them a benefit of price or extra service or value-added services, we make sure we're putting a price to it, which is legitimate, which is what we would like to charge in an ideal world. And you discount it from there on. So you say, I'm going to raise you an invoice and I'm going to let you know this is for an X amount, but I'm discounting because it's the first time or the second time. So at least that person is aware of the price point and what is happening, and sees it as a fact that you are discounting as a customer acquisition strategy, or you are, rather than saying it's free and someday I'll decide to suddenly change, because that is a disconnect. While if you can explicitly tell them that I'm going to charge you, but today because I'm new and you're coming on my side, I'm ready to give you a discount of 90% or 100%. It's the first time 100% discount. Next time you use it, it's 80% discount, which is almost like a free product. But at least the user is clear that what the price point is, what the product is. So tomorrow, when there is no discount, he's not surprised by that price point, or he's not surprised by the fact that he's generating an invoice in his name. So most assumptions are proven wrong, except the few which stand the test of time. So one of the basic assumptions which got proven wrong is we thought as long as you have an organized marketplace, so as long as you have one place where there are 10,000 internships and 1 lakh students, it's automatically going to work. It's so obvious. It was so obvious to us that that's about it. I mean, it'll work, and that we realized at the point of time that access is probably the lowest value you can add in this whole ecosystem, because beyond a point, once they get connected, two people are getting connected through a platform for supposedly something which is going to create value for both the parties, right? And this connection has to result into a selection, right? And so there's a whole chain of value of to be added. So corporates, so initially it was fine. So our like as you said, it was about access. So you post an internship, you got an applications for that internship. As a company, we're happy that you see you got applications. Then obviously questions of quality of applications. I got too many applications. How do I shortlist those applications? So we never thought of those problems. We were very simplistic in our view. Second mistake I think we did was when we started out, as I said, we thought we were the only one doing this. And talking to people over the next 1 month, we realized there are at least a bunch of 10 other people doing this, right? So that I think is something we did wrong. We should have at least understood the competition from the very beginning, which we got into it at a very later stage. Then there were assumptions of what your critical mass is going to be, which changes over time. And our assumptions of revenue models changed, and they were wrong, proven wrong. So a whole bunch of assumptions were proven wrong. What was proven right is that we bet on the fact that, by and large, even if everything else goes wrong, India is about young people, and this is a young business about young people. So if we're able to accumulate a good number of them, we'll figure out a way to monetize it some way or the other. So I think that kind of has been proven right. That we're in the right space, but a lot of assumptions of what we needed to do with the space has been proven wrong over the years.